Previously on Around the Mat.
Didn't even see the secret match.
Stay tuned, we're going to cover it. And guess what? Show footage from that secret match.
Showing Yoshida his ass.
It was not Ronda Rousey or Helio Gracie. Yoshida, we actually put the words, nah.
I saw his ass a handful of times, which was obviously entertaining as well.
Wasn't that great of a secret match.
This was exciting for me. I think the rest of you guys are crazy.
What?
Do you even do Jiu-Jitsu? Like, how...
Choose your destiny.
We're going to go ahead and jump to our friend John Evans from BJJ Breakdown, who's going to tell us a little bit more about the match between Garry Tonon and Kit Dale.
What's up, guys? My name is John Evans. Thanks for having me once again. I really appreciate it. I'm with BJJBreakdown.com. If you didn't know, you can go check me out. I'm at youtube.com/BJJBreakdown, youtube.com/BJJBreakdown, and I'm here to give you my recounting of the Garry Tonon versus Kit Dale match, and this one was a doozy, so hopefully my memory serves me correct on this. Let's go ahead and give it a shot. So we've got Kit Dale. He comes out, he's doing his entrance walkout, and his beard looks fantastic as usual. It always does. He makes it onto the mat, and it looks like he's feeding off the energy of the crowd. Business as usual for Kit Dale, but that's when I start to worry a little bit, because that's when Garry Tonon comes in, and just such a stark contrast between his and Kit's entrances. He comes out with all the energy in the world, and he looks like a man on a mission. They start the match, and Gary's just running circles around Kit, and the commentators even talk about how sugary his diet is for whatever reason. But they finally lock up, and then Garry is able to spin off into an Imanari-style leg lock entrance, right after which the director decides to cut away to some weird camera angles and even some stock footage, it looked like. I don't know exactly what was going on with that. But finally they end up in the half guard of Garry Tonon, and Kit still looking completely lackadaisical, which is crazy because Garry was deep on a heel hook and just cranking the hell out of that. Kit looked like he wasn't even defending, but somehow able to escape, and they eventually end up back on the feet. Garry goes for a snap down and right into a guillotine. Kit, trying to escape, just rolls out of it, but Garry, all the sugar coursing through his veins from his horrible diet that the announcers won't stop talking about, he is able to follow him and goes right into a mounted guillotine. Kit still looking like he doesn't even care, even as he taps, and Gary's able to secure the submission. So kind of a little bit of a weird match. Just Kit nearly didn't even show up for it. But then they have the post-fight interview, and Garry gets his hand raised. He calls out Chrome Gracie for Metamoris 5, kind of awkwardly realizes that he's focused on MMA at that point, and then says that he'll even fight him in MMA in a few years. But again, my name's John Evans. I'm with BJJ Breakdown. Go check it out, youtube.com/BJJ Breakdown. And yeah, thanks for having me.
So the first question right up top is, Lex, were you surprised at all? Tell us what you thought about it.
I wasn't surprised, but I was expecting to see exactly what I saw at the first heel hook attempt, which is that very cool look that Kit Dale's got whenever anybody attacks his legs. So I wasn't surprised that the heel hook didn't work, but I also wasn't surprised when Garry just sunk in a quick, whatever you call it, choke, and finished the match. So it was exactly as I expected.
Christian, can I ask you this? Do you think that Garry let that heel hook go, or did Kit escape it?
I don't know. I think it was tight, but I think obviously just the angle and the way the leg was, it just wasn't spot on the way that Garry wanted to be able to finish. Kit had that look on his face, so it was hard to tell if it was going to be tight or if it was going to be not. But I mean, obviously Garry pulled it off well and transitioned nicely into whatever he got to and finished it anyway. So I think it was kind of going to go the same route regardless if he was going to tap the heel hook or not.
Paul, what did we learn about Garry in this fight?
I think just that he is going to perform pretty similarly regardless of whether it's a small tournament or a large one. That's what I learned, at least. I know that he did great at the Eddie Bravo Invitational and has won just at a lot of local tournaments and smaller shows. So it's good to see him transfer that onto a very large stage, perhaps the biggest in Jiu-Jitsu as far as cameras and everything go.
Garry Tonon's fucking frightening. Like, he's transitioned from that guy that could hold his own at the 5 grappling tournaments to being genuinely in the conversation of, is he the best grappler pound for pound doing, especially no gi? I was shocked at how quickly and efficiently he made work of Kit Dale. I really was. We also learned from this that Garry Tonon's headed to MMA in 3 to 4 years. So that's cool.
I want to ask this over to Lex. Lex, walk me through a match. How do you see a match between Crone and Garry going?
That's an interesting question. I think Gary's improving it like week by week. So I've seen him go really far in just last year, and Paul didn't pay me to say all that. I am really a big fan of Garry, even though, as I said, he's beaten me before. I think a jiu-jitsu match between Crone and Garry will go very differently than it did in ADCC. I think Garry could pull out a win. MMA, who knows?
And Kevin, how do you see an MMA match going between the two?
A lot like I would see a jiu-jitsu match going between the two, directly to the ground with some really awesome guillotine attempts. Garry Tonon's the superior fighter, in my opinion, and if Crone wants to prove me wrong, he's got to get in there and beat him. The call-out's been made, and when you issue a challenge against a Gracie based off of my non-existent understanding of the Gracie tradition, they have to fight it. I think that's a thing. I might have seen it on Family Guy.
Christian, what is next for Kit Dale? Where does he go from here? And is there, as someone who has lost to Garry, is there any shame in losing to Garry?
No, I mean Gary's really, really good. I think he's definitely just like Kevin was saying, like that he's made a lot of really, really good progress in a short period of time. But I mean, he's always been good. I remember seeing him at the ADCC trials against JT New Jersey a couple years ago, and he was just phenomenal then. But I know like Kit's going, he's competing in some like Australian Super 8 tournament. I think it's in a gi as well, and it's like a $5,000 grand prize or something like that. So, I mean, it's no offense to Kit. I mean, I think Kit's amazing too, but for some reason he didn't really compete as well as he usually does last night, and he was slow. He wasn't pulling the trigger, and he was kind of just controlling, which is what I thought was going to happen anyway. But I mean, hopefully he bounces back and he gets some more competition experience, and he can do something big in the United States again.
I was just going to jump in and say he was playing that style that Rustum did that Lex mentioned last time. The only way to beat Garry is to really beat him on points or shut him down and try to slow things down so much. But he's not going to tap to 90% of what other people do, and it's going to be very hard to beat him in transition, and that's one of Kit's strength is fighting in transitions. So Garry having the edge in that department and Kit trying to slow things down is where I think Kit kind of ran into things. But he looked competitive for sure.
Paul, how much money do you expect to make off of Garry?
I don't expect to make a dime off of him. I hope that he becomes one of the most sought-after grapplers for competitions, because I truly believe that he's the most exciting grappler in the world. He gives zero fucks about points or anything like that, and he just wants to go out for a finish. So if there was any tournament promoter that wants someone that's focused on a finish, there's exciting matches, I think Gary's your go-to person.
Well, now that you've created some new Open Mat Radio t-shirts, you should work on the zero fucks given Garry Tonon t-shirts.
Yeah.
It's a possibility.
Lex, did you have any flashbacks when you saw Garry attacking Kit so violently?
Yeah, there's. I had to turn it off a couple of times, and I felt hot tears building up in my eyes from the pain, from the memories. Nah, man, I have so much respect for him. And the cool thing about Garry is if I would send him a message and challenge him, he'd probably fight me at any Grappler's Quest or anything. He's always open to. He's always out there competing. He loves it. And that's the thing that...
Did you want me to email on your behalf to Garry?
No,
I'd be happy to do that.
That was a hypothetical statement, Raph.
No, it's cool. We can take care of that right now.
Let's just do it. Yeah.
I feel the hot tears building up again. The flashback.
Hey, Garry, did you hear that? Oh, by the way, Paul, can you relay that message? That's pretty
texting
easy.
him right now.
I have this thing I got to do next weekend. I can't.
Oh, that's cool. We'll figure out whatever weekend works best for you. We'll make it happen.
I'm sure he's available.
That's probably not coming up, but that's Lex wants to fight you to Garry. I'm gonna send that right now and see how that.
Does anybody have any other notes or observations they had from this match?
I just want to see a rematch in the gi. Is one thing that I'd love to see. I think Kit's beard grip at the end, where the beard actually grabbed Gary's hand and facilitated the choke. With the gi there, I don't think that's happening. I think the beard's going to be a bit more contained, but I think it would play into Kit's game, actually, if it was a gi match.
And that is what Kit said afterwards. Christian, any interest in seeing a gi version of that match?
No, I mean, I think I would love to see Garry compete almost in every Metamoris, but I think for Kit, I think he should just focus on doing his thing elsewhere and just I would like to see Garry fight like a much like bigger names out there that like he can just roll through everybody, because I mean I think Garry deserves that, so like if they could just keep throwing him people at the top of the list, that'd be perfect.
Lex.
So I, as you know, I Google my own name about 3 times a day, every day, for the last several years, and the first video that pops up is Garry submitting me with a rear naked. So I would love to beat the Google rank of that with a new video where I submit Garry. I would love that very much.
Well, if I hate to tell you, and that exists in no parallel universe or this one, so...
Unless he takes a bribe and sets it up and it's some kind of...
Oh, what
honor
Russian
would you have with that?
response.
Yeah.
What a Russian
In
thing
my
to
country,
do.
we buy our wins. Just as Fedor.
Hey, you made it through another one. You don't get anything for doing so, but isn't watching these things reward enough? Don't answer that. If you liked our exclusive footage from Metamoris 4, then be sure to check back here at YouTube/VerbalTapcast for unseen footage from the other matches. That's right, we still got 4 waiting for you guys. And also on our YouTube page, you can check out our full-length commentary on each match as we break down all the most important and hilarious aspects from Metamoris 4. Tell us what you think and how you think Lex would lose in a rematch against Garry Tonon. Sorry, Lex, I mean, it's just science. You'd lose. Until next time, folks.
Peace.